Hello, Basics Bitches. Welcome to another episode of Muscle Monday. I'm your guide through the iron jungle and companion on this journey to a stronger you. Let's break down the basics of strength training with the precision of a weightlifting ninja. Lace up those lifting shoes and prepare for a weekly dose of muscle building wisdom. We believe strength isn't just in the body, it's in the mind, the heart, and the dedication to becoming a best version of yourself. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. Excited for you to be here with me today. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so I have been talking a lot about my kids coming with me to the gym, and I want to talk about that today on this episode. And I was hoping that my daughter would come on here at least because she is a PR freak, like a PR freak. Every single time we go to the gym, every single exercise, she thinks she has to PR. And I have to remind her that we can never sacrifice form for getting a PR in the gym. We cannot do this. And we have to understand how progressive overload works. I've done an episode on that. We have to understand what muscles are going to go super duper quickly and we're going to be able to progress super duper quickly. And other muscle groups where it's like, I'm 8 years in and I'm still using 15s on lateral raises. Okay. So, it's important to understand that even though progressive overload, it is a real thing and you have to know what to do. There's also this thing where we have to understand why PRing in the gym every week is not necessarily beneficial or helpful to getting our progress in every single exercise. And then also to understand the fact that it's not every exercise you're going to PR. You know, my son falls into this trap because he is very black and white. There is no gray with him. It's like you tell him to increase weight after 2 sets of this and this and that and live by the progressive overload method. And he's trying to do, 30 pounds for lateral raises. It's just not effective. Your form is shit. You can't do it. You're going to get injured. Okay. And so we have to understand that going for a PR every single time that we are in the gym is not actually healthy for the body, okay? A PR means you are lifting at your max capacity, your biggest lift, the most you can do for 1 rep. And unfortunately, you cannot do that every single time, okay? Not only that, but you are eventually going to tap out on muscles. And I've talked about this, living in the gray in the gym and understanding the nuance, which again is why it's helpful to have somebody to guide you during this process so you can ask some questions and understand that you're not crazy, that you should not have to be going to 30-pound, lateral raises unless you're honestly about 240 pounds and don't have shoulder problems and are a big dude, and you're 6'4" or some shit like that. That would be when I'm like, okay, you could probably potentially do that. Ladies, like I said, I've been in the game for 8 years and I'm at 15s for the most part. I can do 20s, sort of. I wouldn't say my form is necessarily sacrificed, but I would also say that it's not necessarily the best because it is heavy for my shoulders. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the progressive overload method. Now, ideally, this is what we want to be using to make sure that we are progressing. Makes sense. Okay. So ideally you have 3 sets. Okay. Let's say you have 3 sets of bicep curls. First set, you do 10 pounds for 10 reps. Second set, you do 10 pounds for 10 reps. That third set, you need to move your weight. You need to go to 12 pounds. You need to go to 15 pounds. And if you find that you cannot do that, then you need to be adding an additional 2 reps on that third set. So you're either going to do a set of 10 pounds for 12 to 15 reps, or you're going to do a set of 15 for maybe 8 reps. Okay. And understanding that when you make that move, when you move up in that weight, it's okay not to get that rep range yet. That is totally fine. Number 1, your muscles are already taxed from the previous 2 sets. Number 2, you're overloading the muscle. So it would make sense that you might not be able to perform at that higher rep range, at the highest rep range that you quote unquote need to perform at. Okay. That is the truth. Then so let's say you go whatever, blah, 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 your next arm day, you get back to that exercise, you moved up to 15 pounds for 8 reps. You're going to start at 15 pounds. Might you get 10 reps? Possibly. Might you only get 8 again? Maybe you're just having a shit fucking day and you're like, shit, man, 6 feels hard today. That is okay. There is nothing wrong with you. That is normal. Okay. We do not have to PR every single time we hit the gym and every single exercise. And my daughter is addicted to this. It is a dopamine hit for her. And currently, no joke, her, my son, and my father-in-law all have a bet because you see, my son was kind of being, I'm not going to lie, being a little bit of a weenie. Okay. And he doesn't like leg day. I don't like it. It hurts my legs. Okay. Well, that tells me that you need to strengthen your legs a little bit. Okay. And so a few weeks ago now, it's been, we saw him on the leg press and he was only doing about 50 pounds on the leg press, which is 50 pounds for somebody might be really great. He is 6'2" or 6'3". I don't exactly know. He's probably like a $130, solid muscle. He's a swimmer. There's absolutely no way in hell he should only be doing 50 pounds on a leg press when I'm watching my daughter, who is 90 pounds and about 5'6", doing 140. Okay. So it's not a comparison game, but naturally he should be stronger. He's bigger. He's already been through puberty. My daughter hasn't hit puberty yet. She hasn't even hit her stride. Okay. So there's no way in hell that she is going to be stronger than him on a leg press. Now, here's the difference. She loves leg day. Why? Okay. Because she can move a lot of fucking weight on leg day. Why? Because those muscles are bigger muscles. That's why, right? This is why I can press 400, 500, 600 pounds on a leg press, but I can only get up 15 pounds for a lateral raise. My shoulders are made up of super teeny tiny, lots of different muscles. Okay. Maybe not lots, but a few different tinier muscles. And so I can't do that. I can't overload like I would. By the time I hit 10 at 15 pounds, my shoulders are rocked. They are rocked. Okay. This is why you can squat more, why you can bench more than you can press overhead. They're different muscles working different things, and they're going to get taxed differently because of their size and the engagement in which you have in this exercise. So my daughter, today we're going to the gym, and my son, who has leg day tomorrow, because they do opposite days, because my daughter loves leg day. She likes to go in on Monday and she likes to hammer it out, versus my son, who's like F leg day. I'll do that Tuesday or my second day, whatever. And so they have a bet. So now my son isn't necessarily excited about leg day, but what he is excited about is beating his sister. And he'll get $5 if he can do it. And so again, it's not because of anything other than the fact that he just didn't like leg day. And so he's just literally, the one time that he was pushing 50, my husband went over and put 45s up. Okay, so this is only 90 pounds. And he couldn't even do 2 reps, supposedly. Then the week after that, because he had his feelings hurt. And he didn't like that, and that's kind of how he reacts. And that's a whole different mom level of life that we deal with him on a regular basis because of being on the spectrum. But so he had his feelings hurt. He could barely get into. Me and my husband are having to, push the sled up for him, which is fine. Again, it's whatever. It's where he was in the moment. I'm going to honor that. But then the next week he comes in, rolls up 45s and does sets of 10, multiple sets of 10. I'm like, what the hell? Okay. Now this tells me you need to move up in weight. Okay. So it's understanding what muscles are working, what size they are, what should I be able to move the most weight in, and then also understanding that you won't always be able to add more weight. And it is a dopamine hit. It really is. My daughter gets the biggest fucking drive out of adding more weight. She's like, when I started this, do you know I was only at 20 pounds? And she was. She started at 20 pounds on the leg press. Today, she's going for 140. Okay. And that's over the course of, 6 weeks, 4 of those weeks, she'd only been training leg day 1 day a week. Okay. So this significant progress for her. She's literally leg pressing almost 1.5 times her weight. Okay. And I say that because it's not just 140 once, or 130 at this point. She hasn't hit 140 yet, but it's not 130 once, it's 130, 10 reps. It's 134, 10 reps. So she's leg pressing over 1,000 pounds every set that she's doing. Okay. But what I've had to reel her in on is the PR. And she's like, look, I got all these things. Look, I PR'd 15 times today. So in my app, they both use my training app. You can PR in weight, you can PR in total volume, you can PR in reps. So you have an opportunity to PR 3 different times in one exercise. Okay. And so a lot of times where they're at right now, they're brand new lifters. If you are a new lifter, you're going to get your newbie gains. It happened to me. Eventually that shit's going to fucking tap out and you're not going to be able to do what you've always done. Okay. Another key part of PRing or continuously overloading and stimulating the muscle is also understanding what your diet looks like. If you are in a diet phase, do not expect to get stronger. If you are at maintenance, you can get stronger. If you're in a slight surplus, that's where you're going to see those gains at. You're going to get significantly stronger. You're going to have more energy to move more weight. Even though my bulk was complete disastrous, it was awful, it was fucking terrible, I will say that I've never moved as much weight as I have when I was eating that much food. Okay. And that felt really cool. On the flip side, there's a lot of other things that did not feel so great. Right. But so your diet, your nutrition, it's got to line up with what you're doing in the gym. Now, neither of my children are on quote unquote diets. They're not in a phase of a cut. Both of my kids are in a fueling phase. When they are hungry, I let them eat. Now, what we eat is, they're not just eating ice cream cones and things like that. But not that we don't do treats like that, we do. But it's planned. So they are going to, being a newbie lifter and eating food, fueling their workouts, fueling their swims, they are going to make progress in the gym. And they're going to make it pretty quickly. Now, by the end of the summer, I guarantee they are going to start tapping out. At least for a little bit. They are going to start kind of tapping out into things. And it's normal. This happens. And their PRs aren't going to be as many. And I lifted this weight last week versus this week might be a little bit almost the same because they're going to start tapping out. It is normal for that to happen. So if you are finding yourself in this same situation where you're like, man, I can't keep progressing in my, shoulder press, or I can't keep progressing in my lateral raises, or even in your squat, even in your deadlifts, even in your whatever you're doing, rows, it doesn't matter. If you find yourself not being able to continuously progress, there's a bigger picture, right? Am I in a diet phase? Well, then don't expect to, right? At what point do I need to, have I done this exercise for way too long? Am I doing the right accessory exercises to fuel and get stronger at this exercise? Like that also matters, guys. That matters a lot, actually. Like a lateral pull down, okay, where you go above your head and you're pulling that weight down and kind of like putting your elbows towards your pockets. That fuels and helps you get better at a pull-up, okay? It's the opposite of a pull-up. Instead of pulling your weight up, you're pulling the weight down. Okay. Everything translates. When you're doing push-ups, that translates in the bench press. When you're doing a body weight squat, it's going to translate into a regular squat. When we're doing good mornings, it's going to make sure that transfers into RDLs or Romanian deadlifts. It's all cohesive. It all has to make sense. And this is why shit fucking matters. This is why you can't just walk into a gym willy fucking nilly, and maybe you've been able to do that for however long you've been doing it, but eventually it's going to tap out because you don't have a cohesive plan. And then what ends up happening is, one, you either go too hard, too fast, too soon, you get injured, and then you quit because you get frustrated, mad, and pissed off, or you don't get the result you want because you don't have a plan that makes sense for you. This is how this works. But what happens is we love the dopamine hit in the gym. Literally, my daughter is addicted to leg. If she could do leg day every day, she would. She would do it. Okay. She's addicted to it. That's just the beginning, middle, and end. She's addicted. But you cannot continuously PR every fucking day that you go to the gym. It just can't happen. It just doesn't work that way. The last time I really PR'd at something like meaningful, honestly, is when I deadlifted back in December in that meet. That was the last time I like really PR'd something major. Now, this morning I did some shoulder. I have my shoulder day. I do one chest accessory incline bench. Everything else is all shoulders, whether it's overhead press, shoulder press with dumbbells, lateral raises with a cable machine. Okay. And I do a seated single arm press on a cable machine. And it's specifically for shoulder press. And I hit 30 today. I hit 30 and I PR'd in weight, I PR'd in reps, and I PR'd in overall volume. Okay. But that was it. I haven't had, and the only time that I do those things is when I haven't done those exercises, honestly, in quite some time. It has been a minute since I went and did that. And so obviously it's clear that I have, over the course of the last time I did that, gotten stronger. And in fact, that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go see when the last time, because I get a history of these exercises. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click shoulder press cable. No, okay. There we go. Okay. Click history. Okay. So the last time I performed this was February 19th. And it looks like I was doing a higher rep range, 20 pounds for 15. It doesn't look like I got much over 20 pounds ever, to be honest. Today I did change my rep range a little bit, but I got 20 for 12, 25 for 12, and I went up again 30 for 12. So I PR'd in volume, weight, and my 1 rep max, but my overall volume, weight, and reps. Okay. So that matters. That February I was doing, sets of 20 pounds for 15. Today I blew by all of that. That shows me over the last, 6 months, even though my body doesn't look like how I want it, I'm still, taking off this fat. I have gotten stronger over the course of that time. And to be honest, I probably could have gone heavier. Not going to lie. Okay. But I will say this, I'm not going to go heavier at the expense of getting injured just to go heavier, just to get another PR, just to, feel better about myself. And because I don't feel necessarily great in my skin, but then I can just go do this, because all that's going to do is lead me to potentially getting injured. And I don't want to get injured. Okay. So you can never sacrifice your form for more weight on the bar, on the whatever. You can never do that. You have to understand what your limits are, what your muscles are doing, why your muscles can only take so much load. Like, there's so many things to understand about the process. Okay. So that being said, if you have questions about this, let me know. And then another thing is, contrary to, we'll talk about, the parallel in training and nutrition here is going to be your protein. So if you're not really sure how much protein you should be eating, there's actually a link right in my bio that you get, or in the show notes. I say bio, but like Instagram. There's a link right in the show notes that you guys can go click in there, and it gives you this huge breakdown of all the things that you need. Like, it's super informational. I was really impressed with it, which is why I like to use it, why I like to tell other people to use it. And it's a good jump off point. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect for you. It's a jump off point. It's a guide. It's a start place. It doesn't mean it's 1,000% correct. Okay. I want to be very clear. So, if you're interested in that protein piece and not sure if you're eating the right things or enough protein to get the gains in the gym, go ahead and click that link in the show notes, and then you will be able to figure that out. Okay. On that note, you guys, I will catch you on Wednesday's episode. Thanks for your patience and the lack of Muscle Mondays here. I do miss them, and they will be coming back with a vengeance. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.